So that's your camera. That's mine. You can look. You know how to do this, though.
Sure. Do you want me looking there? Or
Like, if you feel like
you?
it's something important to talk about, like, Darren, you can look at that.
Yep.
Or, like, if we want to talk to everybody, we can look at that one. Because that one's on both of us.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. I'll just move around.
Yeah. I don't have a clue what I'm saying. Welcome back to the Stuck in My Thoughts podcast. As always, I'm your host, Justin Stuckey, and we're in St. Louis. We had to travel for this one, and we came to meet with Ms. Lindsay Eversmeyer. Thank you for sitting down with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So I did a lot of research, and you're big time around here. We looked at your bio, and you wear a lot of hats, I guess I could say. You're in a lot of different things. We just talked about before we started. You're in the St. Louis Hall of Fame for soccer. You're the master analyst for STL City. You are a legendary coach, legendary player. You've done a lot of things so far. And most of all, you're a woman in sport, woman in life. And looking back into your bio, we saw that you were the first ever woman to play in the men's indoor soccer league. So you were a trailblazer in your own right. How does it feel to be that? And how do you think about the importance of women being trailblazers in sport, but also in life in general?
I think for me, I just feel normal, because I'm just doing what I love. So it's not like I was doing it to be an actual trailblazer. The whole reason that I did it was because at the time I went and tried out for a professional team out in Washington. And while I was out there, the league folded. And so I was like, well, what are my options? I have none. So I was forced to go try out for the men's team because I wanted to play soccer. I wanted to play professional soccer, and that was my goal. So I wasn't doing it to be a trailblazer. I did it because, there weren't any other options for women, and I felt like I had to kind of bring that to light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You also talked about like the options for women, that they were small,
Yeah.
But then you created your Fire and Ice Soccer Club, and starting a new club in that Women's Premier League, you're giving those opportunities, giving those options for women, and you could say like you're a big influence and empowering the young women. Do you feel like, you've been called and that's your purpose to empower the young women in sport?
I guess you can say that. I think it's because soccer has given me so much, like in my entire life. I've definitely been blessed by soccer. And you get to a certain point in your life when you stop playing that you're like, okay, I feel like I need to give back. And that's basically what now my cause has been, to give back to the community, to give back to soccer, and to help other people like my coaches before me did. Yes,
the sports are like, you just mentioned how soccer has given you so much. With me, track and field has given me so much. Lindsay behind the camera, soccer has given her so much. I feel like sports in general, it takes you down those paths and brings people into your life. And you talked about the coaches you had. Who were the influences for you going up?
Oh my gosh, I have to say all of them. Because each one of them gave me something else. The very first club coach I ever played for, he used to ask me why on every single pass. He'd scream, why? Like, and it had to make me think, like, why did I do those things, And then as you move up and get older, obviously it becomes about tactics. So then, I had like Mike Gavane at JB Marine, and he taught me about tactics and got me to the next level in college. So each coach has actually given me something. And then I had another college coach, Rock Roan, and he was just like the super supportive person that's like, I will do whatever, and made me feel like super special as a player. And so I've learned those things from him. So there's a bunch of different coaches that I really have to say influenced me.
You talked about the college journey too. You started at Kansas, right?
Yeah.
How do you go from a Power 5 school to a lower school? And what made the shift and transition? Because it wasn't a thing of you weren't getting playing time or anything. You were doing your thing out there. So what made the shift of coming back down to a smaller division, smaller school from Kansas?
A couple things. One, I was homesick, and I think that's something that kids don't realize nowadays. A lot of them will be like, I want to go away, and then they get there and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to go back home, So I just think the fit wasn't right for me. And at the time I was like, you know what? I just want to go back. I just want to get my degree. And then once I get my degree, I can do something good with my life and for a good purpose. And that's all I thought about. I wanted to have fun, get my degree, and then move on.
Okay, yeah, because I feel like every day now people are chasing that, Power 5 offer, that Power 5 school, and not chasing the fit.
Yeah.
Somebody, like for me personally, I've gone from a smaller Division I school now to SEC school. I've seen the two sides, and I think navigating, especially for the high school athletes now coming out of college, you're worried about, are the coaches trying to get portal kids? Am I going to get this offer? Am I going to get that offer? Rather than enjoying the sport and playing it itself. What advice would you have for those kids transitioning out of high school, going into college, and seeking that right fit for them?
Well, here's my advice, and I've actually put this out on social media a couple times, is you have to stop worrying about wanting to impress other people. You have to do what's best for you, because like when I bring kids in to recruit them and I ask them, I'm like, do you know like what my history is? And they're like, oh yeah, the Hall of Fame. They bring up all these things. And then I ask them, I'm like, do you know where I went to college? And they all say no. And it's because no one cares. At the end of the day, no one cares where you went to college. It's all about what you do with your life after that. And that's what everybody knows me for, is what I've done after college. So not many people knew that I even went there. So just stop worrying about what other people think. Don't feel like you have to impress people. Just do what's best for you. Pick the right spot where you're going to be successful on the field and off the field. And then once you get your degree, move on and do something good with your life, because no one's going to care after that.
That's good. That's going to be Instagram reel. Watch out for that one. Oh, yeah. So you talk about all these good things and all the places soccer is taking you, and it's giving you so much, but you also, outside of sport, you've been able to do so much in your family aspect. Every team you've been on is a family, but you have your own family. You have your husband and your 2 sons and your dog.
Yeah.
Talk
about 2 dogs.
2 dogs?
2 dogs.
We got 2 dogs.
We got 2 dogs in the
Okay.
house.
Talk about being able to balance the demands of your career and then also the demands of your family.
So I'm very fortunate for that, because my husband is really supportive. Like, he has his, passions and I have mine, and we knew that going into it. So that's the biggest thing, is you have to understand who you're with and what their passions are, and you have to be willing to support them, knowing it's going to take you away from your family at times. Luckily for me, my coaching at the college that I'm at, I coach at Southwestern Illinois College, the men's team. Our practices are early in the afternoon. So I'm able to schedule them to where at night I have my family time.
Yes,
so this is good. The only time I miss the evenings is when we have an away game or something like that. And it's just going to happen. So I'm very blessed to be able to make my own schedule in the college life. And then I still definitely make time for family. You have to, because after all, family comes first, which is part of the reason I'm no longer coaching at the high school. I was coaching at Althoff. No, I don't have my club anymore, and I don't have the WPSL team anymore. It's to take those off my plate to be able to spend more time with my family.
That's what's up. That's
it.
So it seems like you keep it pretty fun too. We saw that you were on TikTok. I told you we did our research. What inspires these TikToks? I went through and they were pretty funny.
Okay, so what first inspired it was my players, because I was never into this stuff, and they bet me one time. They're like, Coach, if we win this game, we want you to do whatever that renegade was. That was the first one they asked me to do. So that one was for them. And so sometimes I get people just kind of to push me to do it. But most of the time, it's just like, I'm bored, and why don't I just do something fun? I love making people laugh.
Yeah.
And so that's why most of them are pretty funny or whatever. And another thing, I love pranking my husband. So that's another thing.
Your family, is your husband into hunting, or all of you guys into hunting?
I would say my husband is the inspirer, and we kind of support him. So because he loves to hunt, I go hunting with him, and my sons go hunting with him. Just like when there's a soccer game, he comes to soccer games, not because he loves it, but because he wants to support. So it's kind of like a back and forth support with our family.
That's what's up.
We all do it together.
My dad's a big hunting guy, and I was like, man, I got to ask Lindsay where the hunting spots are out here in St. Louis. I'm pretty far from home.
Yeah,
so we got to get out here.
My husband's got a good prime location. Yeah, he's got a good spot.
We can't tell y'all about it, but
after
it's over,
so mad.
We'll check it out. So I believe everybody I sit down with, and even myself, is destined for a purpose. Everybody goes onto their own journeys, their own path. And you talked about your purpose previously, but let's step into your purpose now. Right now, you're the match day analyst for STL City, and you're a coach. Talk about your experience into that new role, being the host and the analyst for, the first ever, big MLS team in St. Louis.
Well, the transition has been interesting, because I've never had any type of experience doing something like that. But when it was offered, I was like, this is a great opportunity. I know I'm scared to do it, but this is, I throw myself into these spots. I like putting myself, making myself uncomfortable, because that's how you get better, right, at things. And that's how you learn, is to be uncomfortable. But I've had some great mentors. Kristen Carver, she is the host of the match day, and she has been amazing to help me get through those things. And I've really started to get into it. I didn't know if I would, but I'm actually really, really liking it. I'm still nervous every single game because speaking in front of that many people is not what I signed up for, you know. But I love it, and I'm very grateful that they even considered me to do that job.
You talked about getting outside of your comfort zone, and I believe that everything comes best when you get a little uncomfortable. Talk about taking that leap, and why did you feel the need to take that leap into something you didn't know if you would, succeed or fail in?
Well, I think it's because a couple things. One, you want to do it for your kids. You want to show your kids, like, hey, listen, just because you're scared doesn't mean you shouldn't do something. You should definitely try it. And if you fail, then who cares? But you never know if you're going to fail unless you try, right? And failing is not a bad thing, okay? Failing is a sign of courage. You know what I mean? That you actually attempted to do something that you were scared of. So for them. And then for, the fact that there were, I think of all the little girls and the next generation. That's one of the reasons that I do a lot of the things I do, is to help the next generation. And for them to see a female on the screen being an analyst for a men's professional game, I know that this inspires them, and that just makes my heart happy. So, that's part of the reason that I do that.
I like that.
Yeah.
So STL City, I had to do my research on it. I'm not a soccer guy, but now I am. And seeing the atmosphere that they have out there, even before the games, during the games, and after the games, all the block parties, all the games that you guys do outside of the stadium, and then the connection with the fans. That's the biggest thing I've seen with the fan engagement. Talk about how STL City's connection to the city of St. Louis is so different from the Cardinals or the Blues or the Battlehawks. They seem like they're in their own class. Talk about the connection they have with the city itself.
Well, it's really the type of fan, okay? Because all sports fans are different, right? And soccer fans are intense.
They get a little wild,
yeah. So it's just the personality. So if you go to a Cardinal game, most of the people, like my husband is a Cardinals fan, and when he goes, he wants to sit and he wants to enjoy, and it's like a classy type of thing, all right? And not saying soccer fans aren't classy, but they are just passionate, passionate. They're standing, they're screaming. They are what they call the 12th man, all right? So you have 11 players on the field. They're the 12th man on the field. That's where the players get all of their energy from, and we are super special here in St. Louis because this is one of the first soccer cities ever in the United States. And so the history and tradition has been here for such a long time, and that's where it comes from. It's been that long passion and this awaiting this team, begging and praying for it. And now that it's here, we're just like, everybody's just coming out of their shell, and they're just so excited.
You got people from all over the country coming, because I'm coming from Alabama. We're going on Sunday. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I just admire how they can take something, obviously, soccer in Europe and things like that. You see it, you have to get up at like 4 a.m. to watch it. Yeah. But getting this, experience in America, I think is a big thing. And then getting people, that aren't doing the sport very accustomed to it. Because I wasn't a soccer guy. I didn't play soccer growing up. But getting involved in understanding the people and understanding how things go, I'm excited for it personally. But for you, what do you feel like is the biggest positive? Or what are the things you like most about your role there for them?
Oh, what do I like most about it?
Yeah.
Working with that organization. The people that work there are incredible. Everybody has really good hearts. They're very passionate about soccer. They're very passionate about helping other people succeed. And I'm all about empowering, So like whether it's women empowering women or men empowering women, like I'm all about this. And it's just, I can just feel it in my heart that I'm very blessed to work with those people. And that's why I show up every day, because I love it, and they make it that way. The people that set that whole organization up are class, and it goes from the top to the bottom.
We gotta love a good culture.
Yeah, I love it. Love a good culture.
Okay, so Lindsay, the name of this show is stuck in my thoughts. Okay. And I started asking all of my guests this because when you go throughout the course of life, there's a lot of things on your mind. There's a lot of things that you ponder on. So what is something that you constantly get stuck in your thoughts about?
What I do next. What do I do next? Because I feel like, how can I help next, I would say. So I feel like I've done so many good things in my life. I'm almost scared, like, hey, when's the drop off going to happen? You know, like at some point you're not going to continue going up, you know? So I get stuck in my thoughts all the time about what can I do next to help? I think I have an idea what I want to do. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm definitely working towards it. So we'll see.
That's what's up. That's what's up. You know how you just mentioned how you wonder when the drop off is. For people that may experience that, you know, they may try to form a sense of complacency, or they may not be willing to take the next step. And you had that discussion about failure. What do you feel about that? Are you timid to go up, or do you just keep going forward no matter what?
No, that's my problem. I feel like I'm never timid to go up, you know, and I'm never timid to go down either. That's the thing. I'm not scared to fail because, like I said, like, what are people going to say? Oh, she failed. Yeah, but I tried. Did you try?
Yeah.
No, you didn't. So I did it for you, and I showed you, you know, like, you hopefully you can learn from why I failed. So no, I'm not timid to go up. And sometimes I feel like I was meant to do that. I was meant to break those ceilings, or to, you know, show young women or men or whatever, you know, like what the path is. Or I just feel like I have an ultimate purpose. Like, God has really blessed me with a purpose, and I'm trying to just, when something opens, I feel like it's him. So I'm like, okay, I feel like this is what I got to do. I've kind of been led to that. So that's why.
Have you ever had some times where you feel like the Lord was leading you to something and you pulled away, or maybe feel like you wanted to go the other way?
Yes. Yeah, I did that when I was deciding which college I was going to go to. I had a scholarship to the University of North Carolina, and they had the #1 soccer program in the entire country, and the coach was the national team coach at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'll never play here, or I feel like I'll never play here. I'm just nervous. My dad can't make all the games. My dad had never missed a game in my life. And so I felt like I was pulled the other direction. But really, I think maybe he was pushing me, and I just didn't realize it. I pulled back from it, you know, so. But that's all right. Everything turned out okay.
Everything works out for a purpose.
Everything happens for a reason, so it's all good.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Lindsay, I appreciate you sitting down with us. Thank you for taking the time. You know, I'm glad I had Lindsay's connection to get to you, because I didn't want you to think I was just some rando reaching out. But
I get those all the time, though. So yeah, and I don't mind. I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I do my research, though. See.
Oh, yeah. See, I had to do my research. I figured you did yours. But I appreciate you sitting down with us and giving us a little bit more insight of your journey and who you are as a person and what all you do and the people you impact. And for y'all watching this, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for all the episodes we got coming up. We out. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're really good at that. Yeah. Like, I get interviewed by a lot of people, believe it or not. And yeah, you're really good.